this is Medicine in 3 Minutes, and today we're going to be talking about Hodgkin's lymphoma. So looking at blood, you got the cell components and the plasma. For cells, you got red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. And for white blood cells, there are actually 5 categories, but today we're only concerned with lymphocytes, namely B lymphocytes, but we're also going to talk about T lymphocytes. So the difference between T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes is that T lymphocytes are cell-mediated and B lymphocytes are humoral. So B lymphocytes are responsible for humoral immunity because they secrete circulating antibodies. Namely, you got IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, and IgD. Fun little fact, you can actually tell how old an infection through the presence of antibodies. So for example, if you find IgM antibodies, that means that the infection is recent. And if you have IgG antibodies, it means that the infection is quite old. Anyways, T lymphocytes, however, they don't secrete antibodies. They depend on the thymus, which is located in between both lungs. It's a gland that's part of the lymphatic system and the endocrine system, and they act via the cell using cytotoxins. So normal B lymphocyte cells produce antibodies that fight infections as part of the immune system. They move through the bloodstream. T lymphocytes, on the other hand, they live in lymph tissue everywhere in the body, but you'll mainly find them in the spleen, the bone marrow, and the lymph node. So now that we've covered how B and T lymphocytes function normally, we can see how Hodgkin lymphoma will affect them. So Hodgkin lymphoma is the malignant proliferation of B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes undergo a malignant transformation into Reed-Sternberg cells. Basically what that means is that B lymphocytes get attacked and they get mutated into Reed-Sternberg cells. These cells right here are much larger than B lymphocytes, and they have 2 nuclei, and they're called nucleate cells. Reed-Sternberg cells can be B cells or T cells. What that means is that it could have been the B lymphocytes or the T lymphocytes that were attacked and mutated into Reed-Sternberg cells. But it's mostly the B lymphocytes that get mutated into RS cells. The key point here, though, is to note that it's not the Reed-Sternberg cells that we're interested in, but it's rather the failure of the T lymphocytes to function, to produce the antibodies to attack these bad guys over here, just like HIV, for example. Moving on to causes, they can be genetic or through environmental exposure.